1 in 3 school students is failing to meet minimum literacy and numeracy standards across Australia, and 1 in 10 are so far behind they need additional help. That's the headline finding from the latest National Assessment Program for Literacy and Numeracy, known as NAPLAN. The test has been revamped with tougher assessment criteria, and the results show plenty of improvements required, particularly for Indigenous, rural students and those from poorer backgrounds. National Education reporter Connor Duffy is with me now in the studio. Connor, what do these results tell us?
Good morning, Karina. They're a pretty dire report card on the state of Australia's education system, and they're one that experts say we've been dodging for quite a while because NAPLAN assessment criteria in the past haven't been tough enough. Now, the test is still the same, but just the standards that we're using to mark it have changed. And most importantly, probably we now have 10% of students marked as needing additional support to meet minimum expectations in literacy and numeracy. And now that's really concerning because we know from research that if you fall behind in year 3, you're very unlikely to catch up by year 9. Only 20% of students ever actually catch up after falling behind. And while NAPLAN's only one measure of the Australian education system, it really correlates with what we've seen in international rankings where Australia's been falling behind for 20 years now.
What's been the response to these results?
Yeah, so I think like any bad report card, we have been dodging it for a while, and now the curtain's been pulled back, and so there's a degree of surprise from some, but for people in the sector, really, they've kind of been expecting this. The Education Minister, Jason Clare, was out and about this morning, and this is what he had to say on the NAPLAN results.
I've said a number of times that we need serious reform to education. I think this report makes that blisteringly clear. What it shows is we've got a good education system, but it can be a lot better and it can be a lot fairer. If you're in that lowest category, below the minimum standard, then only about 1 in 5 of those children will get out of it by the time they're in year 9. So a lot of children who are identified as not having the literacy and numeracy skills that they need when they're in 3rd grade have got those skills by the time they're in the middle of high school. And as a result, a lot of those children drop out of high school. And that's happening at a time where you need to finish high school and then go on to TAFE or university. So this is serious and needs serious reform.
So, Connor, when will we see a solution from governments?
Yes, so the Federal Government commissioned a review led by Dr Lisa O'Brien, who used to be at the Smith family, and she's been looking into different solutions. We know one of the things they're looking at is small group catch-up tutoring, which the Minister supports. But really, we won't get down into the nitty-gritty of this until next year when the new school funding agreement is negotiated between the Commonwealth and the states, and they'll use the leverage that they gain from potentially putting extra money for public schools on the table to kind of push for some of these evidence-based reforms. And I think it's pretty clear that the solution needs to involve changes to classroom style and to funding.